And there we go. We should make sure the microphone is turned up. Hey, everyone. Welcome once again to our Thursday night Hour of Power here live from Alberta and Ontario and all across Canada. Everybody joining us for some excellent track style racing here on the RGT platform. Once again, with me tonight, I have the wonderful and venerable host, Tanya Dubnikov. Tanya, how's it going?
It's going wonderful. Again, this is so exciting, a great part of the day. At the end of the day to showcase some great virtual racing of athletes all over the world. We have athletes from Britain, we have athletes from the US, we have athletes from Calgary, Edmonton, we have athletes from Manitoba joining. So this is a wonderful thing to be here with you, Andrew, and watch some great racing.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be some great racing. For those of you who have tuned in with us in previous races, you've sure seen how exciting some of this can be. Track racing is generally short, punchy, exciting, fun to watch, a lot of fun to race too. A lot of athletes are joining us from across the country and getting their weekly workout here at the Thursday night Hour of Power. Looking at our race clock, we have about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So why don't we head on over to the RGT platform and check out how the racers are lining up there. Here we go. On screen right now, we've got the finish line on the famed Bowness circuit, 1 kilometer crit style racing here. We're going to be doing a scratch race of 6 kilometers. Tell us a bit more about this course, Tanya.
Yes, this is the classic Bowness, Tour Bowness course. It's 6 laps. What's really interesting is when we took the file of the actually race and put it in Magic Roads in RGT, it created a little bit of a couple corners. So the athletes are really going to be able to feel and have to slow down and stop pedaling. This is not like Zwift where you can just jam through the corner. So you'll have to slow down a little bit and then re-engage the power of your trainer to carry on to the course. So, over 6 laps, how much will that affect the rider's legs? I'm not quite sure, but definitely it'll be a little bit of a leg burner before we see the finish.
Yeah, and this week we've got something fairly new and interesting going on. Not so new that it's crazy. We did something very similar last week. However, the format will be a little bit different tonight in regards to the Keirin. Before we get started on our scratch race in about 2 minutes, I think we can go over that for the folks watching at home.
Yes, so we experimented with a mass start Keirin last week. So what we're doing this time, we're having athletes sign up for an A Keirin or a B Keirin. And so they sort of roll the dice. A Keirin would attract riders that can produce high powers. B Keirin would have athletes that still can produce power but might not be at the top of the game, or older male, or a junior, whereas someone that is a little bit younger, and so the top 7 from that event will qualify for the final at the end of the evening. And so it's a challenge because we can't really communicate with the riders that are in the race other than them watching this on the live stream, which is a bit delayed, so they might not get it. But we're having some people help tech support, so giving the athletes a reminder in the text box. Also, they can't pass the bot. We have a bot in this race that'll be racing 2 laps, and then once the second lap is done, the athletes can pass the bot. So we programmed the bot with some wattage, and so that'll be trying to navigate that as well. But hopefully it'll work. Again, there's always new things to try and new challenges. So the qualifying Keirin is after the scratch race.
And is the bot's name still Jan?
We'll find out.
Okay, very good. So pay attention for that if you're watching us live from home in your studio when you're riding as well. For those of you who are watching the live stream and racing at the same time, just to let you know that there are going to be some fast changeovers. So it's important that you do end your ride quickly and then join the next race so that you don't miss out on the start. So be sure to check your tablet for those controls. Looking over at our race clock, we are just under 40 seconds left to go before we start the first race of the day, which is of course our scratch race. So let's go back to RGT, take a look at that finish line. You can see on the countdown clock on the right that it's less than 30 seconds to go. Before we get started, for those of you at home who are watching, feel free to join us and cheer on your favorite riders in the live chat on the YouTube box, and we'll try to give you shout outs during the race. So turning to the riders, we've got about 10 seconds left. So if you're not already spinning up, you should be. It's going to be a fast start in 10 seconds. Get those legs spinning, get that wattage up. It's going to be pretty crazy in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go. Here we go. Jay Rusinek off the front. Let's take a look at the footage from up top. Already lots of action in here. Some yellow jerseys. Looks like we've got some team action going on. Do you know anything about who's in the yellow jerseys, Tanya?
I do not. Interesting. I know that Jason Gillespie might have a few riders. That was one of the corners I was talking about. So hopefully we can get them to slow down a little bit so people can stay together as a group. Here's another one of those turns.
Yeah.
Not too sure about the yellow jerseys.
You can see by the look backs that we've been doing that the race is almost shattered off the gun. So just like I was saying right before the start, that wattage needs to be up because it is, like a gunshot right off the start. Unlike a real race where, you have to, depending on what gear you picked for the track, you'd be mashing those pedals and it would be sort of this slow ramp up to a start. But because the trainer, you can bring that wattage up to 500 watts or then some, and then your bike just goes and it doesn't squeal out like a car would if it was trying to do that. So it's certainly a different mechanic when it comes to track racing virtually versus track racing on a velodrome. Oh, that was a neat little bump there on Magic Roads. Coming around the right-hand turn to the start-finish. Certainly wouldn't be something that you would see in a real on-road race, but of course this is trying to emulate track racing, so we have lots of turns and curves. Is the finish line in Vaughan really on a 90-degree turn like that?
No, it is not.
Okay.
There's a little bit more of a straightaway. It was about 500 meters from the last corner. This is the beauty of the RGT. You can create almost anything. There's actually a spiral road that someone's made. It's quite unique and quite fun. You can see the athletes. Some of the athletes are coming through right now and finishing their first lap. There's the event bot, so we know that everybody's off the front. Looks like there's three groups, three little pockets of athletes. The main group looks like they have about seven or a dozen riders in it. Looks like Annabelle Thompson is in the front. That's the only name I can recognize at the moment. They're going so fast, Andrew. It's just amazing.
Yeah, for those viewers at home watching along, take a look at the top right-hand corner of the screen, and we now have our race data up, and you can see that the average speed right now is about 38 to 39 kilometers an hour, just shy of 40. It's a good pace for a flat course, that's for sure. It's not as hot as it could be. There are some big hitters in the field right now, so you can certainly see those speeds go up. As you can see right now, we're at 50k an hour. Sometimes the slope will have an effect on that. 4 kilometers left to go. We just finished 2 laps going into our 3rd lap here. And the pace seems to slow down a little bit at the corners, which is neat. I do like that effect that RGT does have on the physics of the game. And you can see on the little dialogue at the top right-hand corner of the screen that we've got our group, our front group that we're watching right now is that sort of blob of upside-down teardrops with the red box there. And then you can see off the back there are smaller groups who weren't able to hold on to this lead group in the beginning. And this is why I think we're doing this test with the Kierans, with the A group and the B group, because no matter what you do, if you have a single race like this, it attracts everyone to come race, but not everyone is of the same caliber. So I think this will certainly split it up a little bit. And you can see even now that that's certainly needed.
Look at the work that the group is doing at the front to stay away. There's so many athletes together, just pushing out the power, pushing out the watts.
We have a little solo flyer here coming around the corner.
You can see Lambert there. You always got to watch out for him. He was there last week pushing in the sprint. I think he did 15 watts per kg. So watch out. He's just spending a little bit of time relaxing and not doing too much work, so he can counterattack at the last lap or the last few hundred meters before the end of this race.
Yeah, we don't have a name on that solo rider up there. Let's see if I can pull up our riders list as well.
Here it is.
So M Power. Is that is that a real rider or is that RGT's bot M Power?
Oh, I don't think there should be any bots in this event.
Okay.
So look like Annabelle Thomas. That's one of the names I recognize at the front, and not being, not making sure that she's in the top 4 of this group, top 4, top 5, rotating around.
And there she is. We have her focused on the camera right now, doing really well, taking some shelter from this nice little echelon. It's interesting how they are lined up in that diagonal across the track. 2.6 kilometers left to go. Things are starting to heat up a little bit, 45 kilometers an hour. take a look at the overhead shot here. As a race organizer, that boulder makes me super nervous every time we come around to it because it's right in a corner in a race line. So I certainly would be putting a lot of fiberglass or gym mats up against that thing if this was a real world.
Yes. That's the unique thing about RGT is that you don't necessarily have to have officials, even though officials are very important to and part of a race, unique part of a race, just like having other riders. And so it's funny, Andrew, how when you're watching this race or announcing this race, you're bringing that sort of brain, those things to the announcing, and it just shows you're always going to be there. You're always going to think like that. Safety is a priority.
Yep, safety is my number one priority when I'm looking at a course, whether I'm doing it as an official or an organizer. I've got the three things that have to happen: safety, fairness, and then results. And then everything else comes in after that, right? So as long as the race is safe and everybody is going to be able to walk away and go home the next that evening, that the whole thing is fair and everybody is on a level playing field. And then of course that we're here to get a result. Otherwise it's just a group ride that happens to run over a checkered flag on the ground kind of thing, right? So it's certainly important to get those things going. But then after that, then of course, a lot of regulations are built into cycling the sport. But at the end of the day, really all it is you pull the pistol, everybody goes, first one back wins kind of thing, right? So coming up to kilometer and a half.
I got some confirmation that that yellow group, I believe, is Jason's group.
All right, there you go. They were were they yellow last time? I thought they were more of using the Manitoba jersey that they used at the junior series.
Yeah, I think they switched that up a bit. Yeah. So here we have, it looks like, just looking at the list, it looks like we have Empower, we have Brennan, we have Mays, we have Smith, we have Lambert, we have Dufour, Hartle. All these athletes are jockeying position. You can see them riding 4.2, 2.1, 3 watts per kg, 4 watts per kg. And it seems like they should be getting close to the last lap. And so we'll see what happens with the power in that last lap.
Here we go. Coming up, bell lap. Here we go. We'd be hearing that ring-a-dingy-dingy if we'd be in a real course here. Before we get to our final sprint, just checking a look at our live chat, and it looks like we are getting a few people on there. Jason Gillespie himself there, he mentioned Manitoba, but I guess that's where you got that information from. Kevin Hartle checked in with us. He was looking for the race place tracker. We usually bring that up a little bit into the race, and then sometimes it may not be up because it gets a bit too confusing for the live stream, but we do like to have it up as much as possible there. So here we go, about 750 meters to go. Let's go back to our screen here.
Jason on the front. Jason Gillespie just on the front. Was that true? True to my eyes? Can you confirm that?
It's it's Jay Gillespie. Look at that, and he got a bit of a gap there. Ooh, look at that! It's about 25 meters and 400 meters to go. Can he hold this?
Looks like something that's happened in the tour. Someone's taking a break away and see if they can chase him down. Will his teammates chase him down, or are the other athletes going to bring up the rest of the group? 300 meters.
Here's Lambert's view. Dufour, Castengay, both out of the saddle, putting down some serious wattage. Is he going to make it?
Here's Lambert. I don't know.
Lambert, Mays. Oh, too bad for Gillespie. Got sucked up there. M. Dick in the front right now. Ooh, this is a pretty intense sprint. Who's it going to be? Oh, is Lambert going to come around the corner and do it? No, it looks like it was M. Dick, Lambert, Mays, Power, Castengay, Rusinek, Dufour, Hartle, Stagg, and Schnipke. Look at that. What an excellent top 10.
Good.
All right, everyone. Next race is in 10 minutes, so no super rush, but do remember to hit that end ride button and head on over to race number 2, which is our Keirin qualifier, and it's our Bs. So if you're in the A's, you don't start till 6:25. Make sure you enter the correct race for the one you signed up for, and we're going to sign off here quickly and come back once we've switched over to our next race.
Awesome work, everyone. Oh, nice.
Well, maybe. And we're back here. Just a quick little switch over technically to get our next race up and going. For those of you who are watching on the screen, we had our top 10 up on the screen there from the last race. It took a while for the database to update, but we did get it on for the last minute or so. But if you missed that, head on over to the chat section of the YouTube, and you will find the link to the results if you want to check it out. Just a quick recap of that. In first place, we had Matthias Dick. That was a close sprint, maybe about a tenth of a second separating Dick and Lambert. It was going to be anyone's game there. So Dick, Lambert, Mays is our top three, followed by Power, Castengay, Rusinek, Dufour, Hartle, Stagg, and Schnipke. Moving down the list, Alexander Volstad, Owen Brennan, Gordon Dowling, Brad Thompson, Adam Smith, Jason Gillespie. It was a brilliant attack. We all were rooting for him. Unfortunately, he got sucked up in the final 100 meters or so and ended up in 16th place. Moving on, we had Edmund Tan, Caden Colling, a mystery Calgary rider, Emily Young, Annabelle Thomas, who was doing really well, finished 21st. Ty Andres, Ken Germain, Brent Topilko, Aaron Gunter, Zach Vasilenko, Sophie Bradbury, Vanessa Montfauchard, Maria Montfauchard, Alex Ongaro, Roger Waith, Aaron Watchman, Richard Tan, Mary Pendergrast, M. Seller, Gail Wozni, Yasmin Perdon, and Kyle Zorniak. What a great field. That was an excellent race. Congratulations, everybody, for finishing. Those points are going to be going towards the Omnium event, so don't worry about what position you came in. Of course, it will still add to your overall race. Tanya, tell us about the race coming up.
Okay, so we have the Keirin coming up. Top 7 qualify for the final. And again, I'd like to mention that this night is sponsored by BowCycle. As we saw the first event on the BowCycle Tour de Bonus course. This course is basically at Herne Hill Velodrome, and the goal is that the athletes stay behind the bot. So I don't know if the bot's going to be Jan or not, but stay behind the bot.
It's Jan, all right. There's Jan with an RGT logo.
Awesome. So she's been set to do a specific wattage. And so once the wattage, she reaches that wattage, she'll maintain that watt. And basically the idea is that once she completes 2 laps, it's a free-for-all for everybody. And the goal is top 7 qualify for the final later on in the event. And
how will riders know to be in that race? They look at the results, and if they're top 7, they go on the start line? Yes, so that's sort of an honesty thing. There's not a real way except for us to say, or they do a screenshot, or they have a look when they're done. They can check their app, and they can show the results, and then they sign up for the next event. Fair enough. And for those of you who don't make the final, and if you're already watching, stick around with us. You'll be able to watch the final live here on the YouTube channel, and of course, pass it around to everybody else. Everyone is welcome to watch the racing live as they are racing. So don't feel like you don't have or aren't allowed to watch the YouTube stream. This is for everyone. So. Taking a look at our clock, we're just under 5 minutes to go before we start this race. Jan is on the field, so we will have our motor Derny there for the first 2 laps. It's a bit tough for everyone to stay behind the Derny because it doesn't have that real world feel that track racing would with the Derny. It's pretty easy to see the Derny and line up behind them and keep that pace. But here you don't get the same kind of feedback. So don't worry about going too fast. The Derny isn't going to go too fast. Last week, a lot of riders did sort of end up sort of bunching around and getting in front of the Derny. So hopefully this week we can make it look a bit more like a mass start Keirin and let Jan lead out for the first 2 laps, and then it'll be all no holds barred for our final lap. Yeah, that's a good idea. We have Tara's actually doing race support, so she's just reminding everybody to stay behind the bot. And hopefully that'll be helpful. I know that, it'll be a direct opposite comparison to what we saw in the previous race where, people are revving right out of the gate. That's not what we want. We want people to take advantage of the draft, especially for the 2 laps. And then that's the free for all after the second lap. Perfect. Taking a look at the RGT course, our riders are lined up and ready to go. So why don't we head on down to the velodrome, our virtual velodrome, and check out that start list. There you go. Lots of riders itching to go. As you can see on the screen there on the board, we are in race number 2. This is the B qualifier for the Keirin. So if you are in the B group, this is where you should be. If you're in the A group, then you are in the wrong race. Don't feel bad if you're in. It's easy to just sort of leave the race now. If you want to stay in the race and sort of watch what happens off the start, by all means, just try, of course, not to mix it up with the race, because there are some physics in this race that do help some people. So the first 2 laps, of course, are behind the Derny, but the last one, you could affect it. So if you're going to be in the A race, it's okay to pull out now and start in about 5 minutes. Or 8 minutes, excuse me.
Excellent. And there's 27 riders signed up for this event, which is super exciting. Originally, sometimes people just don't know what to expect. They want more volume in their racing, more scratch style racing or longer racing. So it'll be really interesting to see how the riders do in this event, because for the B riders, they have a little bit of a break before the elimination, and then after the elimination, the B riders go right to their final. So and then the A riders don't have a lot of time between their Keirin qualifier and then their elimination. So we try to get everything in within an hour. So the biggest challenge is actually, Andrew, for you and I to get out of the race and then get in the next race. So that's the biggest challenge today is you and I trying to showcase the event. Everyone else has a little bit of a break, except before the elimination for the A and after the elimination for the B final.
That's right. So we probably won't be trying to show the results for the B qualifier probably until after the A qualifier as well. We'll go through that if we have some time before the elimination, but the transition will be fairly quick, both for ourselves and for the riders. So once this race is over, you'll have to forgive us, but we're going straight to credits and switching on over and doing that. So be sure, for those of you who are watching along at home, to sign out, end your ride, and then join the next one. So we're less than a minute to go, and riders are itching to get out there in the race. You can tell those avatars, they certainly do emote very well, don't they?
I'm excited. I can't wait to see this. Athletes, I spoke to a few athletes today. They're like, oh, what should I do, A or B? And it's like, it's really up to you. There's something to be said about, putting it all in for the A or trying to risk maybe going with B. But with 27 riders, it's anybody's game.
Looking at our race clock now, we're just about 10 seconds away. So if you aren't on your trainer spinning those legs, you better run and get on it now, because this is going to be a quick start. But again, not a crazy one, because we're going to be behind the Derny. All right, we're going to be off in 2, 1. All right, let's go.
Where's our Jan?
All right, everyone, a bit too fast. There's Jan.
Okay, Jan, here we go.
Jan is in a yellow jersey, everyone.
Jason's team.
Don't mix Jan up with our team Manitoba. We still have, I think, Bergeron. Our Bergeron riders are still a little bit too far up. Charles Bergeron, if you're watching at home, you're about 50 meters up from the Derny. So if you want to fall back and get behind the Derny, that would be excellent. I think this is Mr. Bergeron's first race with us, so we can probably give him a little bit of leeway on that one. But all the riders are now way in front of Jan, so if everyone at home can just slow down a little bit. I know everyone wants to be at the front and have that big sprint, but we still have quite a few more meters before we release our Derny. I don't know if Mr. Bergeron got the message yet. We'll have to let him know for the next one for sure. But with a 100-meter gap, I'm not entirely sure how fair the race would be unless he gets sucked up by everybody else. So we'll see how that goes. About 100 meters before the Jan is coming off the track.
Is this it? Is this where she's going?
This is where she's going.
Right here.
And go.
There we go.
Here we go.
Nice.
500 meters to go. Okay, and you know what? The riders, in their defense, they look like they weren't actually moving until about 10 or 20 meters after Jan crossed the line. So it was a good, clean start. Lots of riders here. Yep. Young, Castonguay, Smith. Oh, look at that. Roger Waith. We better start moving up here. I might lose some riders. There we go.
This is the group right here. If anybody was in front, they weren't part of the rules.
Yeah, it looks like they might catch Mr. Bergeron. And it looks like it was Castonguay, Power, Thompson, Calling, Topilco. We'd love to give Mr. Bergeron a pass on that one, but I think that lead out certainly gave him way too much of an advantage. We may have to go with a relegation on that one, Tanya. But you know what? It's always a learning experience, and it's grassroots racing, so there's always next week, right? So I think our top 7 will come starting from second place. And with that, we are going to move on to our next race, so bear with us as we transition on over. All right, we're back, and in the nick of time as well, 90 seconds to go before we start our A qualifier. And a little bit of a smaller field this time. Let's take a look at the drone footage here. Not too many riders. I'm counting 12, 16, 19 riders on the start line. Maybe a few more will be coming. So that's great. 19 riders in the Keirin A, 27, you said, in the Keirin B. So that's a huge field. Congratulations to everyone for stepping up, because you win none of the races that you don't sign up for. So we're glad to see everybody here on the field. And with that, why don't we switch down over to our RGT platform here and take a look at the race for those of you who are watching at home. So there you go, 19 riders on the line. Hopefully everybody here also has the message. Jan is in the race. Jan is the rider on the far left. In the yellow jersey, so don't mistake Jan for Jason Gillespie, even though Jason was in front the last race. Hopefully he'll be behind Jan in this race and waiting for that final lap to go. Big hitters in this race. I think we're going to see a lot of huge wattage, and it's going to be just as exciting as the last one was. 30 seconds to go. Tanya, last words.
Yeah, this is, a couple of young athletes in here, also a couple of old veterans. You have Alec Angaro, and you have someone like Aaron Stagg racing this event, and it's super exciting. Both extremes of the event, so it's going to be really good to see. I think the first execution of the race was great. Hopefully these guys know what they're doing, and the last 500 meters are going to be fantastic. All
right, here we go. Follow the Durney in 3, 2, 1, and the name of the game is Stay Behind Jan. Couple of riders out front, but that's to be expected with this platform. And Jan is now in front. Looks like E10 there is trying to stay in first position. Oh, here we go. This is starting to look like a nice Keirin on the track. They're all lining up. Everyone's staying behind the Durney. This is looking great.
Yep. They just have to stay with the flow, use the draft of the game, and it looks like there's 1, 2, 3. How many are there? Looks like they might all qualify except for a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
9 or 10.
10. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, if you look at the screen on the left, you can sort of tell. I mean, there's at least 10 riders within 5 meters of the Durney. So certainly going to be some people who are going to go home empty-handed. But again, this is the best way to practice, right? Every week, if you want to do it, you can only get better by practicing. So we just had our first lap. One more with the Durney, and then the Durney will be coming off track. Oh, looks like we had maybe a small mechanical there. We came through a rider. Hopefully that wasn't anything too terrible. Jan is still out front, which is great. And Volstad coming up the side, taking the first position behind the Durney. Lots of riders doing really well, and this is great. This looks fantastic. I'm having a blast watching this. I don't know about you, Tanya.
Yeah, I can see the meters chopping, slowly coming down, and we're getting up to that 500-meter mark where the athletes can pass the bot.
Here we go, and the Durney is off the track. Everyone is welcome to go now. Big sprint coming out. Here we go. On the right, Jason Gillespie coming around the side.
There's Jason. And we have Alex Volstead.
Ooh, our mystery Calgary rider. Followed by Gillespie, Rusinek, Dufour. Lambert is in 11th position. He's biding his time. Here we go. Out of the saddle.
Right through the group. Right through the group. All the way. Oh. Fantastic finish.
Yep. And I wasn't quick enough to get the results there, but we will transition out of this and head on over to our next race, which is, of course, our elimination race. So everyone, if you want to stand by, we will be back with you shortly. And we're back here live on YouTube here at the Thursday Night Hour of Power. And for those of you who are joining us at home, we've got some results for you. So let's check on over at RGTDB for the results from the two races. As I'm pulling that up, Tanya, do you have any feedback from the last race?
So it was really interesting to see. It seemed like they started off a little calmer, but I'm not quite sure what the end watts per kg was, but it looked like the last 100 meters of that race was very, very fast. And it seems like the athletes sort of slowly moved past Jan with the last lap, but really it was more the last 200 meters where people, the riders just kicked it on and crossed the finish line. It was so quick. I'm anxious to hear who the top riders were, because it was a real challenge to see.
And it does look like a real track race, a real Keirin race. That feel was really there, and especially when the journey left the track and that action happened. I was certainly convinced that I was watching a track race for sure. But here we go. I've got on screen right now our results from the first race. So this is the B qualifier. Unfortunately, we had to relegate Mr. Bergeron for being ahead of the journey for most of the race and having a 100-meter advantage. But hopefully next race he'll come back strong and take that one from behind the journey with the last lap. So coming in first place, Anthony Castengay did really well there, followed by Max Power, Brad Thompson, Caden Calling in fourth, Brent Topilco, Adam Smith, and then rounding up the top seven, Gordon Dowling. Roger Wade from Ontario, buddy mine, just missed the cut, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll be able to get onto the final next week when he comes back here. But that was our B race. Was there anything from that particular race that you really liked about what you saw there?
I think it's just this is the second time we've done it, so a lot of it is just the learning curve of being in a Keirin style event, where this is exactly the opposite of what the Zwift racing has been and RGT racing has been. Off the front, go full gas, and I think that's just going to take some time for people to get used to, and that's the wonderful challenge and the beauty of racing in RGT, is that because you can create these sort of track like races. And I think with having it's been a year since COVID, we have to think of fun things to do to challenge the athletes and get them to have the sensation of they have to watch a screen, but yet they have to produce power on a machine, and the technical riders, the riders that are really smooth, are not going to necessarily get the same sensation, or they're going to be a little bit more challenged by a rider that's more punchy, because it really is about the drive of the machine and how it communicates to the internet as to how a part of the reason, part of how well you do on these games. So remember, it is a game. But everyone can play along. It doesn't matter, how many watts per kg you can push. You just got to find the right place and execute a plan. And it looks like those riders executed a plan. Unfortunate for Bergeron being off the front, but I think that's just what happens if you're sort of not part of these week to week to week. You don't necessarily experience it. So should be really interesting final. Hopefully everybody knows the game. There's going to be just 7 riders on the field, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in the final. And we have a couple of prizes donated from Bow Cycle. We have some Super Cats, a sticky tape, bar tape for the B final winner, and we'll have some Hammer recovery mix for the A winner. So
very nice.
That's exciting that we have a couple of prizes for those 2 events.
Speaking of our A winners, I now have the results live, ready to go for those of you at home who are watching along. So let's take a look at our top riders from the A qualifier. So here we go. Number 1, Francis Lambert. That not unexpected. Super strong rider. Looks like he just edged out his closest competitor. That was Jojo Rusinek coming in 2nd place. Benoit Dufort coming in 3rd on the Kieran sprint there. In 4th place, Steve Mays. In 5th, we have Tyler Hartle. And in 6th, we have our mystery Calgary rider who was off the front just after the journey came off the track and managed to hold on for 6th place. And rounding out our top 7, Aaron Stagg. So there you have it. This is our final for the A race. For those of you who didn't quite make the cut, you're welcome to join in and tune in on this live stream to watch those 7 riders battle it out for the final Kieran race. Taking a look at our on-screen at RGT, we have less than 90 seconds to go before the elimination starts. So why don't we transition on over there and show our folks at home what's happening on screen right now. Our full field back on the course.
Excellent. We have 40 riders in this event. This is fantastic. Part of creating this event is I wanted it to be fast because I wanted to get the races done within an hour. So there's only 2 positioning laps, and 3 riders get eliminated every 2 laps. So it will be quick. And I'm curious who this mystery YYC rider is. Wonder if it's somebody that I know.
Possibly, and they're using their mystery moniker to hide who they are from you.
They made the Kieran, which is exciting.
All right, for those of you watching at home, the results from the Kieran have been posted in the chat section, and we will check in with you after we get this race started. But we're looking at the course, and it's now less than 15 seconds to go. So if you're on your trainer, start spinning up those legs because it's going to be a fast start. The first 2 laps are positioning laps, but you can get lapped, so try to stay with the field. All right, here we go. On course. There we go. A nice super slow elimination start, as we are used to on the track.
Someone's off the front already.
Even though we're not calling it a neutral start, we're calling it a positioning start. Even if it was a neutral start, it certainly would be fast off the gun. I don't think I've ever seen an elimination race where the neutral lap was anything less than 80 or 90% of the sort of standard speed for that given group on the track there. So it looks like you and I have been lapped and eliminated. That's okay. We're not in the race. There are a few bots and avatars that aren't in the race, so when that happens, that's quite all right. Coming up now, last 100 meters for the last positioning lap, and then we are going to be doing eliminations. Tanya, let the folks at home know if they missed the on-screen instructions, what's happening in this race.
Okay, so the race has begun. So we'll see 2 laps. The next lap you'll see, this is the next lap for the elimination lap, and 3 riders will be eliminated for every second lap.
I think it might actually be on this lap because the screen did say elimination lap initiated by Rusinek. So
okay,
we might see one here.
3 people out this lap.
Here we go. The results are on the screen on the left. And these are the riders that have been lapped. This is mostly us. E10 unfortunately didn't make the cut there.
No one eliminated. Oh, we're waiting for some stragglers, maybe.
Yeah, so for those of you at home wondering what's happening, we can't watch the entire race like you can at the track, and you can see everything that's going on. There are usually riders who are off the back, and those are the ones that will get eliminated, and they usually get eliminated roughly around the time that the bell rings for the next elimination. So let's see if I can pull up our race status here.
Here we go. There's our riders that are eliminated.
Ooh, Antoine Bergeron, E. Watchman, our first 2 riders out. Kay Zorniak, so it's 3 riders. Yeah, so I don't have much of a ability to turn things on and off here. Oh, there we go. When the race results thing came up there, it didn't quite work the way I expected it to, but that's okay.
We have this straggling group of 4 here. Looks like they may get caught the next lap.
Looks like we just lost Gillespie and Ungaro. Gillespie was lapped, unfortunately.
Oh, he's saving himself. Did he make it to the Karen final? I can't remember.
No, he just missed the cut.
Okay, just missed the cut. Here we go. They're staying together. Hopefully they can get some... they don't use all their bullets in the first few laps, so they can actually...
so this is interesting. Our rider from the U.S., M. Power, has decided to go on a flyer and has several meters, probably 50 or so meters in front of our group. This is certainly a tactic that you will see on the track. Riders who are more of your endurance style riders versus the sprinters will certainly do something like this to stay away. And, you know, the only, I don't know if the mechanics work in RGT the same way. You can't lap the field in an elimination race on the track. You end up, I mean, nothing really happens. You can do it, but you don't gain any benefit from it. But what may end up happening is if you do it right as an elimination happens and you've been put up with the group again, you might be last out. So it certainly isn't something that you see the pros do in terms of lapping the field, but quite often you will see them go a quarter lap or a half lap ahead just to maintain and stay away from those eliminations. So taking a look at our screen, we have a few more riders who have bitten the dust, unfortunately. Looks like we've got Topilco, Stagg, Brennan, and Seller are the last 4 riders who have been eliminated. And I don't know if it's going to let Power lap these guys or it's the pack. Okay, and it looks like...
This is great. This is great. This has never happened before.
There you go. So these 5 riders are just getting that Power. Wow, he is certainly decimating the field.
He's lapping everyone. Okay. I guess, you know what? Here's the thing, is that the riders that are in the race are getting this information as well, and there's no way they're going to let them catch them. So this is a new race altogether. I can imagine that they're like, wait, if this guy's going to lap the field,
Yep.
I'm going to take off. So I can imagine it's strung out right now.
Oh yeah, you look at the top right of the screen, and it's just riders everywhere. It's a real yard sale in positioning, that's for sure. We lost 6 riders there. M Power. Oh, here we go, and you can see that we're looking behind right now, and you can see the group is just hot on his tail. Another rider has been lapped and eliminated. That was M Montrachard. And it looks like M Power has decided to let up a little bit, and he is no longer pedaling, so he wants to be caught by the field. Maybe that's a bit of his sportsmanship there, thinking, well, you know, it's not very fair to be lapping all these people, so I'm going to, maybe he's lost.
It.
Maybe that's it for him. He's done. He's
done. He's had a mechanical. He's lost the Wi-Fi. That's it. Interesting.
Oh, so that was certainly something. Like, it's any given Thursday here at Thursday Night Hour of Power, all the weird things that can happen. So let me see what we've missed here. It keeps scanning up on me.
Power left the race.
Power's left the race.
Okay.
So he just wanted to get that little sprint in.
Yeah.
Little assassination work, take out a few riders, and then sit out the rest of the race. So maybe he was a teammate. Who knows?
Okay. There's our mystery YYC rider has been eliminated.
Sophie Bradbury as well. This is certainly an exciting elimination race. You know, based on what we've seen in the past few elimination races, I expect this to start settling in once we're down to maybe 15 or less riders, and then we're going to see that sort of standard elimination where they're grouped together, and we're going to see those 3 riders get eliminated off the back. So, lots of exciting action here. Coming up to another elimination, I believe.
And also, you know, the events that we've had have not necessarily tasked the riders' legs yet. So, you know, maybe some of them are still feeling they have a lot left. Who knows? And so there's a lot of more jockeying for position. Athletes are laying down the power to see, you know, if someone's going to follow. So this is definitely an interesting race and interesting speed that they're traveling.
And I see Charles Bergeron there looking to redeem himself from that false start in the Kieran there. He's in the first position there, so hopefully we'll see him finish with a nice top 10. Schnipke leading it out. Two more riders, Annabelle Thomas, E. Young, crossed the line last and have been eliminated. So that wasn't a lapping. That was a true elimination. And as I said, we're starting to see that true elimination thing where riders are being pulled because they're the last ones across the line and not because they got lapped by the rider in front. 14 riders left on the track. Lots of exciting action here Thursday night, Hour of Power. I'm so excited to be watching this and joining you here, Tanya. This is great.
It's, if we're not watching racing in person, why not watch athletes buzz around in a virtual world.
Castonguay and Volstad crossed the line last and have been eliminated. So that happened right as they crossed the line. So this is the group we're looking at right now. This is the race.
Mm-hmm.
E. Gunter. Right. It is 3 riders going across at once.
3 riders per 2 laps.
So we should see 12. We should see 11 riders left. And we are with everybody. I'm going to see if I can move back a few riders so that we can see a bit more of the race in front of us. There we go.
Is that Lambert at the back, just out of your screen?
I think it might have been.
Uh-oh.
Checking in with our viewers at home. Jason Gillespie is cheering on Brent. You're a wily veteran. Rylan Mateo says, hi, you a Cole Taylor. 7th and 8th was a perfect tie. We'll have to go look at that then. Lots of people joining us at home. 30 people on the view. Oh, and a little bit of a jump there.
Oh.
Who do we have going home now? Andres, Charles Bergeron, Gail Wozni cross the line at last and have been eliminated. So we're down to 8 riders, and we see them all on screen here right now. Schnipke, Lambert, Mays, Calling.
It's amazing. You can see them using their power on different parts of the track. Some of them are using it here to sort of, not let anyone have a little break. And then you see someone on the outside using a little bit of power to jockey for position, get themselves to start the elimination lap. And so we'll see how this all works out. Usually it's right around this corner where they start putting it on and getting the first across the line.
Got one rider in trouble in the back there. They're not likely going to make this with 150 meters to go. Schnipke's in trouble. He's got to put on a little bit of power here. Another Manitoba rider in the back. Calling falling off the back. Looks like it might be Calling and 2 of our Manitoba riders. Yes, M. Dick, K. Calling, G. Dowling. Unfortunately, you did not make the cut. See if I can scan up this list here. It'd be nice if this list would stick at the top, but it doesn't. 5 riders left to go, and here they are on screen. Rusinek, May, Schnipke, Lambert, and 1 rider whose label isn't showing on screen.
I think, so correct me if I'm wrong, the last time we did this, they only eliminated 2 to make sure there was top 3 for the last
That
lap.
might be right.
Correct?
And our 5th rider here is Dufour, so they might only take out 2 on this one to have a final 3 in the race, and it's only 1 lap after that. So it's go once we have an elimination here, guys. So we're basically down to 2 laps to go because we have an elimination coming up in 150 meters, and then it's a 1 lap sprint to the finish. And it looks like it's going to be, Dufour, Schnipke, and Lambert. Oh, Moy's around the corner. Oh, look at that. Schnipke and Rusinek are out.
Little kick. Whoa.
Oh, I gotta move up. Yeah,
Get
I've lost
Lambert.
it. There we go.
There we go. 3 to the final.
Dufour, Mays, Lambert. Hot money's on Lambert based on his performance earlier. Mays out of the saddle. Dufour.
He's boxed in.
Whoa, it's
boxed
coming.
in.
Oh,
What's going to happen? Is he gonna go
Dufour
down?
took it.
Oh,
Look at that. Just couldn't get
fantastic.
around.
On the inside.
Just like in real elimination racing, he was stuck behind. So Dufour,
real
Mays,
racing.
Lambert, Rusinek,
That is
Schnipke,
real
Dowling,
racing.
Calling, Dick, Wozni. Tanya, you're absolutely right. Total real racing. That was really exciting to watch. But we don't have a lot of time. We got to get to our next race, which is, of course, our qualifier, which starts at 6:55. Oh, we do have a bit of time here, so about 10 minutes to go, so not a super rush. So we'll have a chance to pull up those results and talk about them as well. But for those of you at home who are watching closely for this race, we're going to transition over, so bear with us. We'll be back in a minute. All right, we're back, and we've got one more event coming up. This is our Kirin final for our Bs and our As. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, we have our B final. But before we get to that, we do have the results. They are up for the elimination race. So let's put them up on screen and check them out. In first place, of course, it was Dufour. That was an excellent sprint. What were your thoughts on that final sprint there, Tanya?
Oh, I mean, I think it was just very similar to real racing, as we saw the rider on the inside was the one that took it, and we know Lambert with his strength in the past, whether it's his day or maybe he just planned that, but it didn't look like he had the capacity to go around. So that was very exciting. And it's also, you know, by doing this event over and over, we can say, oh, because there's 5 riders left, and we can say only 2 will be out to leave 1 lap for 3. And so it's just becoming a little bit more commonplace for us to be able to commentate, as well as let the athletes know by doing this over and over again what to expect. And I think that was definitely an example of them knowing the race and racing to the race to win.
And we got to see some interesting things there as well when it came to the rider M Power, who went and assassinated half a dozen riders and then pulled out of the race. Maybe it was for a mechanical, who knows, but that was certainly an interesting mechanic to see all those riders just sort of get shelled off because the leader, and normally you wouldn't get lapped until the pack caught you, but you know, again, this is we're trying to make this fit into an RGT platform that isn't necessarily designed for track. But you're right, it was a fantastic final for the elimination. Dufour, Mays, Lambert, and the Mays-Lambert race was super close. If you look at the results on the screen right now, I don't know if you can make it out, but we're talking 85 hundredths of a second from first place Mays, and then 1,000th of a second between Mays and Lambert. So I don't know what kind of sort of granularity that RGT has, but they're saying that there was 1,000th of a second between the two of them. That is normally about a tire's width on the track, 1,000th, or maybe even less. So that was almost for sure it was a photo finish. Rusinek, Schnipke, Dahling, Colling, Dick, Wozni, and Bergeron rounding out the top 10. Moving on from there, we had Ty Andres, Aaron Gunter, Alexandra Volstad, Anthony Castengay, Emily Young, Annabelle Thomas, Brad Thompson, Sophie Bradbury, our mystery YYC rider, and Max Power, our rider, our lapped assassin, coming in 20th place. Coming on from there, we had Maria Montrechard, Tyler Hartle, Ken Germain, Adam Smith, Yasmin Perdon, Zach Vasilenko, Vanessa Montrechard, lots of family names here. This is great. Brent Topilko, Aaron Stagg, Owen Brennan, Seller, and Alex Ongaro. Jason Gillespie, Kyle Zorniak, Antoine Bergeron, and Aaron Watchman. And I believe that's the back, and the rest are us and the bots in the race. So that was an excellent result. A great elimination race. I hope everybody had a lot of fun and are looking forward to coming back next week. So coming up now, we have our final race, our Kirin and the B final. What do you think is going to happen in this one, Tanya?
I mean, this is going to be great. There's supposed to be 7 riders, so I'm not quite sure the athletes know. And maybe if you have that qualifying or the list again, who should be in here, and we can maybe give them a message that so this is just happening right now. I don't know if you can see it in the message box, but our race support has politely asked Bergeron to leave because he was relegated. But we still have 13 riders, so we should have 9 riders, I think, unless you have more. We should have 10 riders.
Well, for sure it's going to be yourself and me in there, and
Jan. So there should be right. So I think Bergeron, think he knows he's not riding. It looks like 0 watts per kg. So we have Stagg, Thompson, Castengay, Smith, and Dahling. So there's an A Bergeron and there's a C Bergeron. Interesting. I
count 12 or 13 riders in this race. But again, I don't think it's going to have a huge effect on it. And of course, for the official results, we're just going to be looking at those who qualified. It makes it much more exciting to have a 7-person race. And of course, as we move along in this, it's going to get a little bit smoother and people will realize what's happening. So if we do this in the same format next week, then I think everybody will know and they'll know exactly what to do. For those of you at home, we are looking at the race right now. Let's put that on screen for everybody to see what's happening. I don't have a centered view right now, so there are a few riders who are off the screen right now. But this is our final, which should for sure has our top 7 from the B qualifying race. And they have just about 2 minutes to go, and it's going to be the same format. Jan, our Derny, will go off for the first 2 laps, the first 1,000 meters. And then once Jan has reached that finish line, then everyone is welcome to pass the Derny and go for gold.
Excellent. And I can see the communication happening between the race support and ensuring that everybody is on the start line. What is unique about this platform is we don't really we can't email people or text people. So it's about, giving them a message on the side, and hopefully they can see it when they're warming up and on their trainer. So, and again, if someone is in here because they like racing, that's okay. We're not gonna get mad at them for
of course not.
Not knowing what's happening. But this is going to be great. Hopefully, we'll see something a little bit more like a Kieran. Hopefully, Jan is definitely recovered, the bot Jan, and you can see right now she's warming up a 4.7 watts per kg. So that's what it's going to be like out of the gate. So that'll be interesting to watch. Looking forward to seeing how this all turns out.
Brent Topilco was asking about the B final, the event ID. I did put it in the chat there, so hopefully if he's Brent, I don't remember if you were on that list, but if you're supposed to be in the race and you're watching at home, I did put the link to get into the RGT event in the chat there. So hopefully you'll be able to get in the next 30 seconds because that's how much time you have before the race goes off. Oof, super exciting. Mm-hmm. Thanks everyone who joined us at home. Lots of activity here in the chat. And of course, if you want to give shout outs to your favorite riders, be sure to do that in the chat. There's a great little comment here from Joe Forcier saying Lambert being boxed with an unhappy face. That was a great comment. I liked it. Exactly. All right, here we go. In 5 seconds. Remember, riders, stay behind Jan.
Here we go. Okay. Jan's doing her job.
Oh, and it looks like Brent made the race. That's great.
Excellent.
So on the group right now, we've got Smith, Bradbury, Dalling, Castengay, Thompson, Topilco, Bergeron, and so that's 8 or 7 riders. I think we've got the right group in here. So I think this is going to be a fun race to watch. Let's take a look at the camera from behind. Let's take a look from the moto's view. Here we go. Ooh, almost lined up. Now, if we could only get them to program it so that everybody just goes in a line, that would be fantastic.
We could do that. We could tell them what position they're in. Whoever first, second, third, that's the position behind the bike. That's maybe next time.
Yep.
Jan's still off the front, which is excellent.
250 meters to go before Jan leaves.
It's almost like we're holding our breath watching instead of, trying to comment on what's going on.
Yeah, this is super exciting, and this looks really good. Castengay, Thompson in the front, and there we go. The Derny is off the track, and we better make sure that I can follow these riders.
Ding, 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 ding. We need to get a bell next time. Here we go.
Castengay, Smith.
Look at that power. Fantastic. 300 meters to go.
Looks like Brent Topilco is going to go into this one in... Oh, Castengay coming around the side. Smith got a lot of power coming out the outside. Who's it going to be? Looks like we've got Castengay, Dowling, Thompson, Topilco, Smith. Ooh, and it might even be Bradbury. Still got a few... Oh, no, they still got some meters to go. There we go. All of our riders are in. So that was Castengay, Dowling, Thompson, Topilco, Smith, Bradbury.
Fantastic.
Fantastic racing. All right. So even on the schedule, it says 7:05. The actual race is in 3 minutes. So we're going to have to sign off and join you for our A qualifier in just a moment. All right, we're back for our final event of the evening. This is our Keirin A final, and it was a big rush to get over here. We have less than a minute to go before they start, so let's head on over to the RGT platform and take a look at our riders lining up for the Keirin. This is one is going to be super exciting. I was blown away by the B final. The A final is going to be just as exciting, and I think we're going to see a lot of interesting things happen in the final 500 meters. Tanya, what do you think?
Well, as we saw it, we thought, soon as the last lap came, the riders sort of overtook Jan, but it took a little bit for that to happen. And then after about, 300 meters, it started to sort of slow down, and then it changed again. So it was like a second drive from the athletes to the finish line. So it's not just one big continuous diesel acceleration. I think there's multiple accelerations that these athletes use for the last 400 meters.
All right, well, here we go in 3 seconds. Remember, everyone, stay behind Jan. There we go. Jan is in front. Everyone is staying behind. Let's see if we can get that camera to look behind and take a look at what that looks like. There we go. It's almost like a real Keirin. Bit of a gap there. Riders are closing the gap. Wow.
They're utilizing, slowly bringing up the power because they don't want to pass the bot. So very smart utilization of their power.
Look at that. On screen right now, folks, that is a track Keirin happening right now.
That's the best we're going to get.
Look at that. Montrechard, Calgary, Dufour, Rusnak, Mays. So do you think Dufour is going to be able to pull off another upset like this, or Lambert might go home with the gold on this one?
I don't know. Lambert, I think, is a new hero, especially seeing some of the things some of the moves he can do. But again, at that elimination, he worked real hard. So you never know. It could come down to positioning. It could come down to, seeing who has the power at the last 200 meters.
Well, here we go. A 250 left to go before the Derny comes off the track. Everyone is still behaving themselves very well. A couple of riders coming up beside the Derny, but that's okay as long as they are. Look at that! Literally, they're staying right behind the front wheel. That's perfect Derny pacing. Montrechard is in great position right now, and the Derny is off the track. Riders are now powering up. Rusnak, you can see getting out of the saddle a little bit. T. Hartle, Lambert now in first and second right now. Nobody is going crazy gas right now. 300 meters. I think we're going to see maybe in the last 200. That's when the big jump's going to happen. Lambert coming around the side now in first.
That just goes to show you, Jan is still, putting out 370 watts. So you can't really sit down and relax. Here we go. Last 100 meters.
Mays coming out. But in front, we had Lambert, Mays, Dufour, Rusnak, Hartle. Calgary rider, Montrechard. I let Lambert sneak by me. It was just, he just powered out of the thing there and ended up ended up finishing in first place. So there we go. Even though Dufour had an excellent qualifier, Lambert pulled out all the stops and finished in first place there.
That happened so quick. I don't even know what happened.
I know.
Was it a glitch in the system, you think, or something that moved, or what?
No, honestly, it was the camera angle that we had given there. I didn't see Lambert leave the screen and go off in the front there. So, it's a little tough doing this for those of you watching at home. It's just Tanya and I trying to put the show together for you and to do all the tech stuff and broadcast and also announce the show. It's certainly a challenge. We are trying to make it a lot of fun and exciting for everybody at home. And for those of you watching, thanks for joining us today. We had Liege 1947 saying that they enjoyed this. Montrechard V and M. Granny from Hamilton, Ontario. Good going, Vanessa Montrechard from Granny. This is great. We have tons of grandparents from Hamilton, Ottawa. Bop and Mom and Bop were joining us a few weeks ago.
I think my parents are watching it as well. They just probably can't type into YouTube, like can't count. They're watching, right? So that's the important thing. So that's really exciting. The one thing that we have prizes for the winners of the Karen B final and the Karen A final. Unfortunately, you'll need to be from Alberta to win, just because I'm not going to mail it to you. So I'm going to find out who those top Alberta riders are. We have some Supercat sticky tape for the B, and we have some hammer recovery product for the A.
Well, we've got it on screen right now, so why don't we transition over and check it out. So it looks like our folks at home who are helping us with the results there, they were able to put it together for us. So it looks like Anthony Castengay was our winner there. Again, unfortunately, we had that relegation, so we only have 6 finalists here. So we had Castengay, Dowling, Thompson, Topilco, Smith, and Bradbury. There is a disqualification, Jan VLF. I don't know how that worked, but we'll have to sort of follow that up. But it does look like so your prizes are for the winner, or do you have the top? Oh, sorry, I missed that part.
The winner from Calgary or from local that I can send the gift to.
Right. So the first
definitely.
The first local rider on this list. So if you're on this final list here and you're from Calgary and you're number 1, let Tanya know. Or
Edmonton.
Edmonton.
I can get it to you at some point.
There you go. So that's Anthony, Gordon, Brad, Brent, Adam, and Sophie.
And thanks, Brent, for making it, because there was some communication there that he wasn't able to make it or didn't find the link. So it's great that he was able to show up. And doesn't he have to go and teach another class after this? Didn't he say he was going to run interval workout with his group after this? So that's what he did last week. So glad to see that he's part of the show and everyone that came to watch.
For sure.
And, it's very exciting that we get to do this.
So I have the A final up here, so let's take a look at that on screen as well. So of course it's Lambert who took the win on that one. Steve Mays and Benoit Dufour coming in 3rd place. Jojo Rusinek in 4th. Tyler Hartle in 5th. Our mystery Calgary rider in 6th. And then Vanessa Montrechard coming in 7th. And then, well, that's me. That's ARC Events. That I was just on the start line to make sure to watch the race. So that's your final right there. It could even be that mystery YYC rider is the only Alberta rider there. Who knows? But we'll have to check that out from the results. So there you have it. There was that exciting Kieran final. I'd be happy to do this again next week, and I think everybody else at home liked it. So any final thoughts before we end our broadcast today?
Yeah, I'd love to know what people want to see, what kind of races they want. So if they type in the chat box real quick what events they like. I know someone that can create them for next week, but this is definitely our 2nd show, and we have one final event next week, and so we'll get the points totaled up. We'll have an endurance winner, and we'll have a sprint winner, and we have 2 gifts for each one of those. Again, you have to be from Alberta, so I can get those to you. Yeah, looking forward to do this again. We like having the endurance event. It's a little bit longer, but then again, having some sprint event is also exciting as well.
For sure. No, that's those are some great thoughts. So that's about it for us tonight. Thanks everyone for coming out and racing. Thanks everyone who joined us live online. Hopefully we got all your shout outs there, and be sure to join us next week when we do this again live on Thursday night at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern, and whatever time you are if you're racing and joining us from across the world. So on behalf of myself, Andrew Paradowski, and my co-host Tanya Dudnikoff, thank you very much, and we're looking forward to seeing you once again next week at the Thursday night Hour of Power.
Thank you.